Yo, what's going on? Chavo Guerrero Jr. here. Giving a big shout out to Wrestling Rehab. Keep watching, keep listening, and viva la raza.
Órale.
Órale, Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout outs to all the junkies out there. Wow, like overload of so many things to talk about. It's almost like there's nothing to talk about because there's just too much to talk about. But if you spend too much time on one thing, then you won't get to anything else. You know, I'll talk about evolution just a little bit here and there, right? Before we get into Saturday night's main event. And we got some big stuff coming up on Monday Night Raw as well tonight, right? Very interesting to see what's going to happen with Monday Night Raw. But evolution, let me touch on that for a second. Okay. In my opinion, it was a hit. I really enjoyed evolution. Guys, I'm out here in Nevada right now, and it's like an extreme heat wave. I'm a truck driver, so I go from state to state, and good gosh, man, I thought it was hot in SoCal, but damn, my goodness. Um, evolution. Okay, going back to evolution, right? Evolution. I remember when it first came out. Apparently, it was 7 years ago. I didn't think it was that long ago. When I heard that, it's like, hey, it's been 7 years since the last evolution. I was like, wow, really? It's been that long? Damn, I'll tell you, man, time goes by pretty fast. Depends what we're talking about. But in this case, if somebody told me like evolution was like 3 years ago, I would have never questioned. I would have just been like, yeah, all right, seems about right, Holmes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna argue with it. I would just been like, oh, okay, yeah. But 7 years ago, I'm like, damn, okay, yeah, yeah, I guess so. So, and we'll get to Saturday night's main event, but I want to touch on Evolution uh, here quickly. So, the pay per view as or the PLD as a whole, I thought was pretty damn good. The Battle Royal, I'm not a big Battle Royal fan. I'm not. I love the Royal Rumble, but Battle Royals usually those are kind of weak. I'm not that into it. Battle Royals, when you go way back in the day, they were pretty fun. But Battle Royals, probably because Battle Royals have just become, hey, throw a bunch of mid card guys to a bunch of jobbers in there, and then we'll go ahead and give them the, you know, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy or something. And it never leads anywhere. But um, I don't know. I've always found battle royals a little bit boring for the most part. For the most part, okay. This one was pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good. It's one of the best battle royals I can think of, especially in recent history. It's not like they have so many damn battle royals, but this one was pretty damn good. I was entertained all the way through. Now, I didn't do a prediction show on this. I thought about it, but I'm like, nah, it's Sunday. I'm kicking my feet up. I'm waiting for evolution, watching my Dodgers struggle to get a victory. But um, I was thinking it was either going to be Nia Jax or Stephanie Valkyr. Stephanie Valkyr, look, they're really pushing her. I didn't really follow her in NXT, but I mean, I guess she's huge, man. People really love her. And from the little that I've seen of her, I don't know. I probably watched her like 2, 3 matches in NXT. And I'm like, yeah, she's cool. There's nothing really there for me to say like, whoa, wow, man, like she's amazing, right? The last one that blew me away like that was probably Tiffany Stratton, because I had been praising Tiffany Stratton since she was in NXT, and I said, listen, when she comes to the main roster, she's gonna blow up. Now, Stephanie Valkyr, look, I'm rooting for her. The girl can definitely throw down. Shout outs to Stephanie McMahon going out there and congratulating her in Espanol, by the way. But I always thought it was going to be either Nia Jax or Stephanie Vaquer. They went with Stephanie Vaquer. Now she gets a title shot at Clash in Paris. Good for her. Good battle royal. The the way it kicked off with the triple threat match with Becky Lynch versus Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria. Great match. Awesome match. That is what a triple threat match is supposed to look like, by the way. Beautiful. Shout outs to all three of these ladies. And by the way, I've said it before. I'm not that big of a Becky Lynch fan. I'm not. Bailey, I mean, look, I don't deny that Becky Lynch is a good wrestler. I just don't think she's a great wrestler. But hey, look, she's over. People love her. People have loved her for years. Bailey's a really good wrestler as well. And if we're gonna be honest, on the main roster, Bailey never really blew up as much as Becky or Charlotte, or when uh, Mercedes Monet was still Sasha Banks, Sasha Banks, which Cole gave her a shout out. But I always thought she was a good wrestler. I'm sorry, Stephanie. Lyra Valkyria, man, these names, I tell you, these new school girls are getting in there. Lyra Valkyria, look, they try to push her pretty fast on us. I thought it wasn't working. I thought they needed to slow down with Lyra Valkyria just a little bit. Like, okay, you're pushing her a little bit too fast. Let it come organically. Okay, I can see Lyra Valkyria. She's a good wrestler. I'm not sure where she goes with her character. Is she supposed to be a falcon? Is she supposed to be some sort of bird? I'm not really sure. But don't push it too much because you're going to have the WWE Universe not buy into it because it's not coming organically. Just slow it down. All right? Slow it down and it will grow. But great match. By the way, that finish, the way Becky Lynch finished that match with the way she pinned Bailey, badass, badass, top notch. What a pin! What a pin! While Bailey is on top of Lyra, about to get the 1, 2, 3, gets to about 2.5, and Becky like rolls on back on the back of Becky. I'm sorry, on the back of Bailey. So both of them are back to back. Gets her in a backslide off of Lyra, pinned 1, 2, 3. What a finish, man. That was kick ass, and that was a kick ass finish to a kick ass match. Loved it. The uh the no holds bar match. First of all, I appreciate the fact that they called it no holds bar. All right, I started watching wrestling in the early mid '80s, and those matches were always called no holds bar. And then the '90s come in, and somewhere in the mid '90s, or somewhere coming like into the Attitude Era, that's when we started calling it different things. Extreme Rules, whatever. I mean, they got a little creative with like the boiler room matches and things of that nature, but it was just like no rules or extreme rules or street fight or anything like that. It was just no holds bar. It's just no disqualification, no submission. I'm sorry, no disqualification, no count out. right? But I always like the old school saying of it, no holds bar. I mean, heck, they made a movie of it, the Hulkster and Zeus. May he rest in peace. Yeah, man, I thought it was good. Some people are saying, what was the point of having Bianca Belair as special guest referee if she wasn't going to get involved, if she wasn't going to do anything? Well, if one thing there is for me to complain about, it's wrestling fans. I'm getting sick and tired of wrestling fans just complaining about anything and everything they can possibly think of. There's no issue for me having Bianca Belair be referee and not even really getting involved. I'm okay with that. But the suspense of her being in there, that's what you kind of hold on to. You're like, oh, is she gonna get involved? Is she not? Somebody was saying like, hey, it was a waste. Well, how's it a waste? What the heck else is she gonna do? What? Do you think she was gonna have a match that night? Do you think she should have been in a women's battle royal? What is it? How is it a waste? Unless she was going to be scheduled to do something else, and then they say, hey, you know what? Better yet, we got something better for you to do. You're going to be a referee, but you're not going to get involved. You're not really going to pick sides. But to the best of my knowledge, everything I've seen and read, there was really nothing. They were going to have her on the show. And because she is the friend of both of these girls, well, maybe not. At one point, all three of them were friends. And now I don't think any of them are really friends, actually. Story wise, that is. I mean, even the way just Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair look at each other, it doesn't look like they're really friends. They kind of size each other up now, which of course we got to be leading to a match between the both of them. I'm hoping they keep pushing it down the road for WrestleMania. But I have no issue with Bianca being the special guest referee and her not getting involved. She's just there to be the referee, just like Shawn Michaels was there to be the referee for Undertaker and Triple H. That was fine. I got no issue with it. But of course, fans, I'm telling you guys, what's really bothering me is wrestling fans. Just anything they can complain about, they're gonna complain about. Now I just want to go ahead and get to the main event of Evolution before I get to Saturday night's main event and uh, and what went down there. But Io Sky and Mommy, man, I'll tell you guys this, man. Mommy gets sexier and sexier, baby. Oh yeah. But look, man, Io Sky, this girl, she's all that and a bag of chips inside of those ropes. That girl can throw down, man. Um, I wonder, I wonder if she spoke English, would she be a bigger star? Make no doubt about it. You know, you do have to market yourself. And as big as EO has become, um, I think, and by the way, she's learning a little bit, but I do believe if she knew the language, if she knew English a little bit more, she'd be able to market herself a little bit better and she'd be able to, become a bigger star. Now, you know, I think there's a question to be asked out there, right? Because Asuka, Asuka was a huge star. I don't know if she still is or not. Seems like people still love Oscar. I don't know if she's as huge as she once was. Now Oscar went on that long, long undefeated run, of course. And by the way, there's no disrespect to Oscar because I do like Oscar, right? Her time is almost up. I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 40 years old. But if you give me a choice, and I'm not just talking about today, I'm talking about in their prime. You give me a choice between Io and Asuka, give me Io. I mean, I remember Kyrie Zhang when she was coming into the mix, right? And it was like, oh man, Kyrie Zhang, she's gonna be taking over for like Asuka and women's from Japan and things of that sort. Nobody really talked that much about Io Sky. Definitely, Asuka got the spotlight, and it seemed like the next runner-up was Kyrie Zhang. Io kind of flew under the radar. It was almost a little bit like Liv Morgan when Liv Morgan was part of the Riot Squad. Nobody really mentioned Liv Morgan. Nobody like Liv Morgan was just somewhere there, part of the Riot Squad. But everybody just kind of thought like, well, if she's not part of the Riot Squad, she's gonna get fired. Well, look at her now. And Io Sky, like I said, I didn't really hear anybody talking about her, but man, look at her now. She's badass, man. I love Io. That girl can throw down. So, her and mommy have an incredible match. Incredible match. Awesome. And it becomes a triple threat. Why? Because Naomi cashed in. And we have a new women's champion, Naomi. Now, this new character with Naomi, the super psycho one and the caution tape and all that stuff. Look, for me personally, I don't really care for it much. Now, is it getting over? I guess. I guess. I'm not even really sure. I mean, I think the fact that she's feuding with Jade Cargill is what's getting her over more than just her character. I'm not really sure how much. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. People could love her. So I could be wrong. People may be in love with Naomi's new character. This jealous friend, this psycho girl and everything. I don't know. I never really bought into it. I never really bought into Naomi. With whatever character she had, I never really bought into her too much, man. But now she's champ, and now we'll see. I mean, she's a good wrestler. I think they try to pump her up a little bit too much. I think that could be an issue where every time she got in the ring, I mean, this hasn't happened lately, but if you go back a few years, maybe not even that long ago, every time she got in the ring, it's like Corey Graves, Michael Cole, they be saying like she's the most athletic female wrestler that we have or on the roster or something. And maybe she is. The thing is, she was botching pretty often. But look, she's the new women's champ. And now we'll see what's up. I'm not sure if Stephanie Valkyr gets to pick who she goes after. But we'll find out. I think there's still some unfinished business there with Mommy and Io. So we'll see what's up. And word is that there might not be another evolution. We'll see about that. I mean, from what I understand, Triple H doesn't even really like evolution. He doesn't even really want to keep that going. I'll make a separate video on that. Shout outs to Trish Stratus, the beautiful, lovely Trish Stratus, 100% Stratus faction, goes in there against Tiffy Time. They put on a decent match, little bit of botches here and there, nothing that big, nothing that major, but I thought it was a good match. How about Trish Stratus? I don't know how old she is. How about her, man, paying homage to Lita, doing a backflip, man, from the top turnbuckle. I'm like, that sucker looked loppy. But I'm like, hey, you know what? She did it though. She did it. It didn't match up to Tiffany Stratton's moonsault, of course, because that sucker's a beauty. I would love to see, you know, side by side screens of Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus's moonsault. Much love to Trish Stratus. I always thought she was the GOAT, greatest women's wrestler of all time, until Charlotte Flair came in. Which that whole tag team match, that was pretty good, but it was pretty predictable. The New Day were going to keep the titles. All right, so I know there's a lot more to unpack with Evolution. Probably throw a couple of videos throughout the week talking about it. But I want to get to Saturday night's main event. We're not going to get to it all. I mean, look, Jimmy Uso lost, and I don't even really care. I don't even really care. Um, Randy Orton and against Drew McIntyre. It just seemed like this match was just there just so they could go ahead and set up a tag team match to bring in Jelly Roll. And it's like, wow. Okay, man. I don't know, man. Jelly Roll looks pretty beat up. Now, I see some fans that are pissed. It's like, whoa, why are they degrading Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre? They have to go in the ring and babysit Logan Paul and Jelly Roll. No. See, this is the problem with wrestling fans that I have an issue with. You're too damn emotional and you're not thinking straight. Nobody has to babysit Logan Paul. I get it. You don't like him. You hate him. You think he's stupid. You think he's just a YouTuber and he doesn't belong in a wrestling ring. That's fine. Think that all you want. Drew does not have to be in there babysitting him, trying to get him over. The guy can wrestle. The guy can throw down. He can get down with the best of them. Now, Jelly Roll, that's another story. That's another story. I will say this about Jelly Roll. The dude has lost a lot of weight. He's lost a lot of weight. I mean, if you just look at Jelly Roll, even a year ago to now, the guy has lost a lot of weight. Now, does that mean that that guy can throw down in the ring? No, it does not. And I hope it's not just like, whoa, he's feeling himself now, man. I don't know how many pounds he lost, but that dude was huge once upon a time. I remember seeing him. He was on Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. That wasn't that long ago, and he was big on there. So when I see him in the WWE, I'm like, damn, where's the rest of him? Good gosh, this guy lost a lot of weight. Hey, I'm happy for the guy. Congratulations to Jelly Roll. I'm assuming that he's already been training. I'm assuming that. But for all those that are like, oh man, look at this, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre have to, they've been downgraded where they have to be babysitting Logan Paul and Jelly Roll in the ring. No, just Jelly Roll. I know you don't like to hear that. I get it. You hate Logan Paul. but Logan can hold his own. All right, let's get to the before Monday Night Raw starts. Let's get to the injury. Um, First of all, before we get to the injury, I hope they keep doing Saturday night's main event with the whole nostalgia retro thing. Keep it super 80s, baby. Yes, keep it super 80s. I love it. Shouts to Lillian Garcia. She was there ring announcing. She was supposed to ring announce Evolution, but she had some sort of infection on her throat or something of that sort where she couldn't make it. I like when the mic comes down in the middle of the ring. Cool, cool stuff. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and let's get to the injury. I had picked Seth freaking Rollins. I had said there is no way in hell that LA Knight is winning this match. Now, I kind of got bitten by a snake, man. you know, because he wasn't supposed to win. It's out there now that he was not supposed to win that match. But what happened? Seth Rollins gets injured. The knee again. And strangely enough, it's the same move, the line saw moonsault that he does, and he gets injured on that knee. And he goes down, and I thought it was, part of the show. And I'll get to his injury in just a second, but I thought it was part of it because he started talking about Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman, one of the greatest to ever do it. He's there, he's looking, he's like, yeah, he's kind of shaking his head, like, okay, I got you, I got you. So I'm like, oh, something's gonna go on here. And the doctor rushes over there, or one of the medical assistants there, or one of the staff members rush over there. They jump in the ring, take a look at him. He gets up, and as soon as he gets up and the ref steps back, blunt force trauma. Of course, the kick to the gut first by LA Knight. 1, 2, 3. LA Knight's the victor. Now people are speculating, is that injury legit? Now, I was hearing that yes, it's 100% legit. And now there's rumor out there that this was always going to be the plan, where they were going to have Seth Rollins injured kayfabe and then cash in at SummerSlam. So it basically, it's what you believe. It's what you believe. I don't know if they had to go down this route. I think he really is injured, if you ask me. Some might say it's a work. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with it. But I think he really is injured. And they were already talking about switching up plans because he was supposed to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And now we don't know what the heck's going to happen. That's why, Monday Night Raw is interesting for tonight. All right, let's get to Goldberg and Gunther. Oh, man. I had to take a swig of my iced tea there. Not that big of a fan of either one. I don't mind. I don't mind Gunther being champion. Okay, I don't. Goldberg, finger quotes, his final match. Is it? I don't know, because when things like this happen, well, I'll get to that in a second. But all right, so Gunther versus Goldberg. Actually, man, for it being Goldberg, especially a 58-year-old Goldberg, it was actually a pretty damn good match. And from what I understand, this is one of the longest matches that he's ever had in his career. Not the longest match, but one of the longest matches. I heard this is the longest match he's had in over 2 decades. I don't know if that's true. I didn't go do the research myself. I'm telling you what I heard. The match did run pretty long for a Goldberg match. I didn't time it, But it just seemed like, wow, look at this, man. They're actually having a match. Because Goldberg usually, you know, Goldberg does what Goldberg does, goes in there and squashes dudes, man, and you know, under 3 minutes. I mean, heck, you get a 5, 6 minute match with Goldberg. That's a pretty long match for him. But I thought the match was good. I was impressed. I don't want to say this was some sort of badass, blockbuster hit of a match because it wasn't. I'm saying all things considered, it being Goldberg for one, and then it being a 58-year-old Goldberg for two, I thought the match was as good as it can possibly be. And I was entertained. Now, something I was very interested on how this match was going to end because in my mind, I'm like, man, no way, right? I'm like, does Goldberg really put Gunther over? Like, really? In his hometown of Atlanta? I mean, that's where he says he's from, but man, I don't know. And sure enough, shout out to my boy Big Bird, straight out of South Central. He predicted. He predicted that Gunther was gonna choke out Goldberg. And I guess just kind of thought like, wow, really? Like Goldberg, like that's how he's gonna go out, man? Just having Gunther just choke him out. I mean, hey, listen, the immortal one, the Hulkster, right? Take your vitamins, say your prayers. He lost, man, to Brock Lesnar by Brock Lesnar just squeezing him in a bear hug. And I'm like, whoa, that's my little childhood hero right there. Like, whoa, that's Hulkster. You know what I mean? Like, nothing beats the Hulkster, but I just saw Brock Lesnar just squeeze the life out of him, and it's like, that's it. You can't continue. I'm like, really? That's Hulk, because that's Hulk Hogan, man. But now you got Goldberg. He gets choked out, and it's like, wow, all right, he gets choked out. You put Gunther way over now on this. Goldberg gives a speech. They cut it because they have a heart out. You could go watch it on YouTube and other social media platforms. People are pissed about that. I personally don't really care because I don't really care too much for Goldberg. But however, I did go watch it because I do want to give the guy his due. He did mean a lot to the wrestling world. So it's not that I'm pissed at him or I want things to go bad for him. No, I wish him well. I was just never really that big of a fan of his. And now they're talking about, hey, you know what? John Cena's last match could be against Gunther, and Gunther could retire John Cena. Please, God, no. Please. How over do you really want Gunther to be? He's over already. As Monday Night Raw is starting to kick off, like how much more do you need to give to Gunther? He becomes the longest reigning Intercontinental champion. Now he's got the strap. He retires Goldberg. Like, how much do you feel that, like, how much more do you need to give to this guy? Like, good gosh, man. He'll be fine. You don't need to give him the John Cena retirement match. But that's I'll talk about that on another one. Anyway, look, Monday Night Raw starting tonight. You have a gauntlet match going on, and I think LA Knight will win. I think, um, all things being considered, I think LA Knight's going to get a push. I think he's going to get a bigger push, man, and get his time to shine as he should. So, oh man, yeah, you know what? I forgot about Jelly Roll taking a Claymore. That was good. That was good, man. That was good. That was good. But look, with that, junkies, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tap a body here. I'm gonna enjoy Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, it's a good one. And look, overall, it was a good weekend of wrestling. Yeah, a lot of people complain about Saturday night's main event. I got no complaints, man. It's fine. It's Saturday night's main event. It's not. It's not a PLD, and it's not really a Raw or SmackDown. And that's not what Saturday night's main event originally was ever supposed to be. I don't know what they really want to do with it now, but nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I did. Cholo Trucker, Wrestling Rehab, Sean, all the junkies. Catch you guys on next one.
Take it home and I'll take off.